Hello everybody, Ted Knack here. Welcome. It's been a little while since we had the last webinar, but this one's really exciting. This one is focused on TopoCloud, one of our newest projects, and really it's going to be another feature in TopoDOT. So I think you're going to find this really exciting. So we like to get this and keep this in 20 minutes or 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So we're just going to kind of cruise through this pretty quickly. Again, welcome. Appreciate everybody showing up today. This is being recorded, and so this will be available online, as always, to our customers. In C3 University website, your web page later. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first thing I just want to talk about what's TopoCloud. And TopoCloud is it's a low-cost, high-performance solution to your challenges of LiDAR data management and storage. As you guys know, certainly 3D, we do quite a bit of processing in support of new customers, and they want to see TopoDOT being used in their data. And of course, sometimes we get involved in some projects when a customer needs some extra support. You guys have all been getting so productive and building up your staffs that it's not as typical lately, and we appreciate that very much, but we're always there for you. But so I'm saying that is because we understand the challenges in sharing this data. Basically, it's difficult. There's a few concepts out there. They're not. We think we have something that's come out that's really going to work for the TopoDOT user community, and so. As I said, it's going to be a really high performance and a low cost and an elegantly simple way of doing it. So let's just go on. So of course, today's presenters, I want to introduce you to, you guys know us by now, you know me and Mauricio, so that's nothing new. But we do want to welcome Fabian Cuervo, and Fabian's our Customer Success Manager. And basically, Fabian's joined us a couple months ago, well now, maybe 2 or 3, and is doing a great job. And basically, as we've grown our staff and our customer base has grown, Fabian's focus is on your success. So please, if you're always welcome to email directly to Mauricio, Ted, and myself, Jennifer, anybody here. But Fabian is here to make sure that if you copy Fabian, he'll make sure if we're out of town, something's happening, that you get responded to quickly. That he's basically organizing that for us. And of course, to dealing with a lot of our new customers that are people interested in TopoDOT that haven't yet joined the community. So I want to welcome Fabian and and introduce Fabian to the community right here. I really want to talk about TopoCloud, and today is a special thanks. It's been over a year in development, really. Of course, Maudi just came in one day, and everybody's been talking about data storage, and how you're going to do it. And basically, Maudi just walked in one day, as he always does. He goes, "I think I know how to do this." So that was maybe over a year ago. I said, "Okay, we'll do it." That's about as long as our meetings last. And but it's been over a year. We've done a lot of beta testing, and it's working really well now. And of course, Maudi was assisted, and actually, a large part of development from the website side was David, his brother, obviously. So I just really want to special congratulations and and thank you to these two guys. Who says we don't party at Certainty 3D? So anyway, so moving on. I don't know if you guys anybody was our last presentation. If you remember Bob, and Bob's the guy. He's our generic LiDAR guy who's trying to get his arms around LiDAR. And last time, if you remember our last webinar, we actually answered the questions that how do I place requirements on LiDAR data, and how do I know if data meets those requirements? Okay. Today we're going to look at how am I going to manage all this data. So we're still kind of keeping Bob, helping Bob through the process, and that's what we do here. So that being said, Bob's got these issues. Okay, let's go over. So Bob's been thinking, do I just keep shipping these hard drives to all the departments, offices, partners, customers? And that's, I know, and you guys know yourselves. Typically, in this modern age of internet connectivity, large data sets, gigs and several gigs and hundreds of gigs. Basically, you just took a hard drive and sent it. And that's really, let's face it, we know that's not the way of the future. We know that's not really efficient. It is efficient when considering the alternatives. But just FTPing, a whole project all the time, it's too much data to use. It's too much data to download, so that can take hours to upload, to download. And then how do you control it? So the FTP or quickly you run out of space and you run out of bandwidth, and your pipes are too small basically for working over the internet directly with these files. So basically that's how we get most of our data. We sell the hard drives, show up, and they get FedExed overnight, and that's still the most efficient way to do it until now. So let's take a look at what we're doing. So Bob needs a solution, and that solution had to be inexpensive, it had to be effective, and it had to be user and IT friendly. And I really want to stress that last part. Well, inexpensive and effective are obviously obvious requirements, but this TopoCloud is very easy to use. And the way we developed it, your IT people should be really happy. I mean, when you come to them with your LiDAR requirements for storing data, the first time, I've heard it over and over again, the IT guys just cringe. And my gut is that a lot of their angst is really due to they're going to be in the middle of this data management problem with you. And that's not really the way to be. I mean, you can tell an IT guy to install this hardware and do this with it, and this is all you have to do, and we'll take care of the rest. He or she breathes a little easier. They understand, that, okay, all of this is your requirements, these are your hardware requirements, this is how it's implemented, and I am not going to be having to worry about your data every day, how it gets distributed, how it gets shared, how it gets stored, how it's organized. Not my problem. So basically, we think we have a really, not just a user-friendly, but an IT-friendly solution. So, okay, Bob found that solution. It's TopoCloud. Yay, Bob's happy again, and our whole job is to make Bob happy. So let's get into it a little bit. TopoCloud, this is the big picture. And of course, so I go all, you know me, I always go through the big pictures, and then we'll let Maui show you the real stuff. But the way TopoCloud is organized is that you have the administrator at the top, you have an FTP Apache server, and that is your server. So that can be sitting next to your desk, can be on your network. This is your server, okay? So you basically have control of the data, all your raw data, all your point cloud, your project data is going to go on that server. So basically you retain control of that. So it's important to understand TopoCloud is not going to be some cloud that you put it up there and we're responsible for everything that your IT. You don't have to worry about that. Your IT guys are still in control. They're still in charge of your data. And I know that's a requirement for some of our agencies and the like, that they can't let this data just go anywhere. So the raw data, basically I'd say raw data, your process, your project data is going to be here. And that's inside your agency. Okay? There is a web database, a Certi3D database, and that's a server that somewhat in the cloud, and it's in the cloud. And that's basically all the metadata that's attached to your projects that tell it who can access it, where to go. Basically, that is what we control, and that's what Certi3D and TopoCloud. Basically, that's what TopoCloud adds to this. This is just probably should change this to TopoCloud server. This little icon here, but. Basically, that's what TopoCloud's doing for you. That's the magic in TopoCloud, is this right-hand side. It's the traffic cop for all your data. Now, the interesting thing is, again, IT-wise, you're storing your own project data here on the server. So if anything, if it ever went away, if anything happened, you're not losing your project data. They're all sitting there organized in files. This is just basically, again, metadata as to who gets control, how this guy administers that data and basically provides access. Okay, so this gets pushed, and when we download this project data, all your TopoDOT users have access to this data real easily. So basically, we're going to show you that, of course, and demonstrate that today. But the bottom line is, this administrator can tell which users are allowed to use it, and it could be around the world. And all they have to do is go into TopoDOT, identify what data they want, download it, and it's theirs. They do never go the other way. They don't change data, they don't move data, they cannot upload data. So they're extracting, they might be doing all kinds of things, but they don't, all the processing they don't put anything back on the server. Basically, the administrator is the only one that can change things. So basically, this is survey data, and there's only one person that has control, and that's really important. So basically, and whatever they're doing, they're pushing the metrics to this cloud, to the server. So the administrator can actually see who's downloaded it, how much they've downloaded, and he'll be able to basically see which people are using that data and how much, and what extent, and when. So there's a lot of good metrics here, but again, nothing mission critical that you have to worry about it, and it's all in a safe place here too. But again, that's how it's set up. So let's look at that. So the key points we want to basically accent here. In TopoCloud, you have a single data entry point, and we think that's key. This idea of streaming data back and forth and from users and back and point clouds going all over the place, you can lose control real quickly. Point clouds are survey data, and there's only one person that should be able to put them up and say that is correct. That is the one we're using. So the data integrity is kept with TopoCloud. Again, the administrator is the only one that can put things up here and change things in any project. He can control the access. Okay, so access control is from the administrator. He decides who down here can go and see it and which projects they can get to. And it's flexible. This is not just points. These are not just point clouds. It's point clouds, PDF files. Any files, it doesn't matter. So point clouds, LAS, PDS, we don't care what format they're in. Again, PDS, CAD files, any kind of CAD files, DGNs, DXFs, DWGs, anything you're doing, anything you want to put up there, documentation, basically survey for control, you put those out there, and you can also basically put any documents, any sealed documents for control can be put up there. So basically everything can be contained in that project file that gives you all the information and metadata you need to proceed with that project. And again, and then all this, the traffic cop, that's our C3D database here, the TopoCloud server, that controls who gets it and what's going on. But that's really key. So it's very flexible. You can put anything you want up there. Your FTP, it's an FTP Apache server, and it's your server. It's inexpensive. We have one here with 16 terabytes of data, and I think we spent less than $3,000 on it. This is not expensive. Once you set up the FTP Apache server, you can. I'm not the expert here, but the guys will tell you, hey, how to. And your IT guy will have no problem saying, I need a few more terabytes of data. Just throw them in the rack, and that's it. And there's, I think it's 4 terabytes is $250. So we're not talking big price anymore. We're not talking, a lot of prices. It's going to be very inexpensive. You have complete control, and how you do your backups and how you take care of things. That's up to you. You have complete control of that. Your security, again, that's up to you. You keep this. It's all secure. You control who has access, and of course, how you do your backups, as I mentioned, that's done here. That's done locally. So your IT people have all control of your data. Again, your TopoCloud server, that's where the metadata is, and there's fast access here. You're accessing this all the time, but there's not much data going back and forth. So this is also transparent to you. You don't really know what's happening in here. You don't care. This is providing access. If you put in your password, it says, okay, it goes to the database. It says you have access to these 2 or 3 projects, or 1 or 2, or whatever projects you have access to, that the administrator gave access to. And then you basically download some of the you download files from that project, and then they come down here. Now, of course, here it's as fast as it is. It depends on your bandwidth. The download speed will be pretty much I don't know, 5 megabits per second, I think, something like that. And forgive me if I'm wrong about that. It's off the top of my head. But the bottom line is, it's very easy to access. And yeah, we all know, we've all done. If you're all TopoDOT users, you access a mile of data. It might take you 5 or 10 minutes to download a few tiles. And remember, the administrator organizes all these things in TopoDOT. So they have the tiles, everything. They're all tiled. There's all icons, and you'll see that later. But basically, you get the data you need. You download a half mile to mile data in 10, 15 minutes, whatever. It might be faster than that, but who cares? Have a cup of coffee, come back, the data's yours. From then on, you download it, you upload it locally. Every time you access that, it's going to cache it. So basically, you're just going from your desktop. So you get to, there's minimum of storage. We actually minimize the storage requirements here for all these TopoDOT users. There's no reason for them to handle all 100 megabytes of a big project at once. They get what they need, and they can store it somewhere else locally. They can delete it when they're done. Nobody cares because it's still intact here, and they can always go back and get it again. So the concept of what happens to it here, it's just doesn't matter. They can't change anything and put it back this way. And again, so there's not much storage requirements on this side, and the data is always current. We'll note, and Maddie will show you that a little more. But whenever these guys are accessing data, one of the things that they'll check on the database is, do you have the current tile? Do you have the current version of data? If the administrator changed any of the data, point cloud say in a tile, and you don't have the current one, when you want to go to access it even locally, it'll say, oh, not current. Go back and get the latest one. So, and that'll download the latest data. So this is really, really important. So it's very, very elegant and very, very, and it's very high performance, and it's simple, and it's intuitively simple. Okay, it's TopoCloud Live. So we're going to turn this over to Maddie. I'm sure Maddie's ready to show you how this really works. And let me give you a little background. Maddie has a project. It's a mobile project. He's going to show you that. It's a Massachusetts Route 9, I think. He's going to actually go through the top level stuff first, and I'm going to let him start talking, don't worry. But just to give you the background is that we're going to show you a project, and we're going to actually give you access to that project so you can try TopoCloud on your own. Download some data from this specific project from our server here in Orlando. And Maddie will talk a little bit about more of the details about what you'd have to adjust, but of course, we're going to show you some, we're going to let Maddie take it away and basically show you how that's implemented. So, Maddie, I'm done.
All right.
I'm tired of hearing me talk. I can feel it. So why don't you take over?
All right, guys. So first thing I want to mention is you should have received an email a couple of days ago to the accounts manager for your TopoDOT. We sent out your TopoCloud credentials for the administrator. From there, that administrator can create additional users if they need to. But check your email so that you have access to this this part of TopoDOT or this part of TopoCloud. Also, in that email, you should find the link to this documentation. This link will be up on the website hopefully by the end of the week. Or just shoot me an email if you need the link directly. I can get that for you. All right. First thing I want to go through this really quick. It's not going to take too long. What's in this PDF file is basically describing a little bit how TopoCloud works. But more important is you can hand this off to your IT guy for how you can set up that TopoCloud server there on your end. So it talks about a little bit on what ports need to be opened, the installation process for both Linux and Windows, and how you can do that. So again, it's all step by step, very easy to get set up and installed. And then at the very end, it kind of documents some of TopoCloud and how to add users and projects and whatnot. So some of the things I'll be talking about today. All right. So let's go ahead and minimize that. And here we have our TopoCloud login screen. I've already opened up the program. We're going to go ahead and log in. Excuse me. All right, so this is going to be the main TopoCloud window for the administrator. And the first thing that user or that administrator is going to do is come in here and set up the server information. This, again, is going to be described a little bit in more detail in that PDF document, but basically you're going to set up the host name or the IP address to the server, as well as the username and password that was created for it. And you're also going to specify the URL or the IP address to the Apache portion of the server as well. Okay. Once this is set up, this is actually saved in our database. So if one of your other users or your other administrators that you set up on the account pulls up the TopoCloud admin tool, it's going to pre-fill in all this information for them, so they don't have to worry about how to specify all these values or what they mean. Okay, so that only needs to be set one time. Also in here you can specify your user list. So in here the administrator is going to be able to come in here, add an additional user. So you'll specify here all the first name, last name, email, username, password. Also if that user is an administrator or not. So administrators have access to this program. Otherwise they just have access to the TopoDOT portion of it that I'll be showing you in a bit. Alright, so once that user is created, it's going to throw them in here. And with this window you'll also be able to monitor how much they are actually utilizing the data within TopoDOT. So I can see here the data as far as the point cloud that's been transferred, and also if they're using the imagery that's associated with the data as well. Okay. So once you've set up the users, then the administrator is ready to start pushing up projects. So let me jump over here to TopoDOT really quick. And what the administrator is going to need to do, or someone's going to have to do this for him, is basically set up your point cloud data such that if you guys are familiar with TopoDOT, which most of you should be, is you need to either register your project file to icons if it's a static project, or a mobile data set. You might break up into these tiles or blocks. Or if you have the tiles already tiled or blocked, you can come in and you can do this register scan folder to icons. But basically what you need is that TVW file that's generated by TopoDOT. And what that file does is it provides TopoCloud the information that it needs to properly georeference all of these tiles, and basically be able to map them out for users in the future. Okay.
So I'm gonna, if I can just interrupt at this point,
sure,
because it's just so everybody's clear. Because Maddie just did a little bit of backtrack. This is still on the administrator end. So if Maddie, maybe turn off. So the administrator is actually sitting there with, he has to have some TopoDOT experience. He turns everything off, and then he's basically set the alignment. He's looked at the tiles, and maybe pulling a background will give these guys a feel. He's looked at it himself and said, okay. He's loaded the aerial. So the administrator has done this. He's setting this up so basically, so you can be accessed in these small, simple tiles, and this is really key. I mean, everybody here knows when you don't need data past, for example, for that corridor, you don't need data past those tiles. It's worthless anyway. And then some administrators should be going through and doing all the QA/QC, which we talked about in other webinars, and make sure it's all correct. That that the alignment's correct, that this data is ready to process. That's the administrator's job, or somebody that's working with the administrator. Okay, so basically that's what. Now we're still in administrator mode, and he's going to basically load this up. I guess the icons would show up in this step also, Maddie. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or not? But well, you compare them to icons, so the icons would be there, right? I mean, he would have that, and then he would load that up to TopoCloud. So I just wanted to back that up, and then let Maddie take over again.
Okay. So once you've got that TVW file generated by TopoDOT, then basically the administrator can come in here now. They can add in a project. You'll give it a project name. Let's just do here demo. You're going to select that TVW file generated by TopoDOT. So in this case here, I have my tiles already selected there. You're going to put in your coordinate system. So here we've got Massachusetts mainland. Any meta files you want to stick up there with that project. So let's say here for this particular project, maybe I want to stick up my DGN file, and I've got a control file here. And we'll go ahead and just select those two. You can also give them a description. So this is here, I don't know, final DGN. And here we can do control. Whatever you want to label that with. If you go ahead and click Add Projects now, it's going to stick it in there. Now also we can put up the images taken from the system. So in this case I'm going to go ahead and say Add Files. And I'm going to go ahead and select here the IPRJ file. So in this particular window we can support the IPRJ, the .mis, and the Regal RSP files. So again, these are pretty much all that we use here in TopoDOT. And so if I go ahead and select that, it's going to see that there's 4,800 images there. We can go ahead and add that. And then you can also start tagging these projects with different keywords. So for example, if I want to come in here and say this is a mobile project in Massachusetts, it's got images and anything else that you want to tag in there, you can do so. All right, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then once you're ready, you can go ahead and click Upload Project. And what that's going to do is it's going to compress those point cloud files before storing it up on the server, and then it's going to go ahead and upload it up. I'm not going to go through all this because it'll take about 10, 12 minutes or so. And it's also going to calculate the checksum and throw it up there on the server, as well as all the metadata that needs to go up with it. It passes that over to our TopoCloud database. All right, so let me go ahead and cancel that. All right. So once that's uploaded, it's going to drop it over here into this window, and in this window we can start specifying privileges for each user. So you'll see the privileges over here. In this case, I created a demo user, which I'll be showing you guys in a little bit, so you can access this particular project. So we've got that in there. You'll see I only have them in that one particular project. But you can come in here, remove or add individual users. You can also come in here if there's a particular project here, and let's say you forgot to update or you forgot to upload a particular meta file. You can right-click it and say that you want to add a file afterwards, or remove a file that's up there, or update a file, or anything like that. You can change. Let's see. You can also rename the project, view the data tiles that have been uploaded, or the project tags. Pretty much any changes that you need to make to those projects, you can do so by right-clicking it. Now, for the tags that we specified earlier, that basically lets you come in through here and filter these projects. So, for example, if I want to look for all my mobile projects in Virginia, I can type in mobile Virginia, and I have just that one project there, or all my projects with images right there. Or you can put project ID or project numbers or anything like that.
Yeah, probably more practical would be project numbers, project IDs, things like that, so you know which ones to go for, and then you guys get all that. So we're still on the administrator side, right, Mounty?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make that clear to everybody.
Okay. So that's pretty much the basics here for the administrator side. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the user side, or the TopoDOT side. So in TopoDOT, what you'll notice is, again, make sure that you guys have the latest version, so do your check for updates. Once you have that, then just come over here. You'll notice this TopoCloud toolbox, and you'll be able to say here, View Web Projects. Okay. So if you go ahead and click that that button there, let me move this over. The first time you click it, it's going to ask you to log in. So in this case, we're going to use the username demo, and password is demo. All right. So that's one I created for you guys there. Go ahead and log in and give that a second. All right, so in this particular case, you see I just gave it that permission for that one project. All right, so
let's turn off everything. Now let's turn off everything like you didn't, you're a user, you didn't know anything about this project. Somebody just gave it to you. So we removed images and the screen's blank, right? There you go.
All right, well, I can right-click on this project. I can say View Metadata. Might be the first thing I do, and see if there's any sort of DGNs for me. In this case, there's this one DGN file. This is actually what I have loaded right now. You can double-click it and click Save, and that's going to download that DGN file for you so you can use it. So once you have that DGN open, the next thing you might do, and let me make sure I don't have it already mapped in here. Okay, good. Is you're going to right-click on that project, and you're going to say Download Project File. What this is going to do is it's going to download the equivalent of TopoDOT's TVW file and what you use to map out the icons of all these tiles. And so I'm going to come in here, and let's go to TopoCloud, and let's just make a new demo folder here. All right, and I'm going to save this guy in here, and it's going to be a .top file. All right. So that's going to download. I'm also going to go ahead and grab some of these other things. So I'm going to say View Image Projects. And here we have our image project there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new image folder here. All right, we're going to drop this C3D file right in there. Okay. Once I've got that, you can also come in here. You can view this project. What that's going to do is pull it up in a topo aerial type and show you where all the tiles are at. I can also come in here and click on any one of these tiles, and it's going to load it in for me. If I want to work with it that way, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. And then you can also come in here and you can start prefetching any sort of data if you wanted to do that as well, so that you don't do it all on the fly. You can maybe set it overnight and it'll download the whole project for you or anything like that. But once we're ready to start working, I'm going to come in here. We're going to say map position icons. We're going to go here to that demo folder we created, and there's our top file. And that's going to, my level's hidden here. Let me turn it back on. There you go. That's going to map out these icons for us, and you'll notice there's like these little world icons that say web tile. And I can go ahead and pull up my aerial image again. All right, so we have that nice backdrop there. And basically all I need to do is work with it the same way I've always used TopoDOT. If I want to come in here and load in a tile or two tiles, I can select it, say load that icon or that tile, and it's going to download that from our, or in this case from the FTP server that you have set up there. Once it's done downloading, it's going to uncompress it and cache it locally, so that if I go back to that same tile and try to load it, it's going to load it from your local cache rather than trying to grab it from the server again. So it kind of speeds up that load time again in the future.
Okay. So everybody sees. I hope Matty went through that quickly, and he's and now you can see where you could just download a tile from the server. Now we're not going. We're kind of our local server. So what would that take? Probably, typically, that would have taken about realistically 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Depends. I mean, if it's
remote.
If it was remote, it'd probably take somewhere around 3 minutes, 4 minutes, around there.
3 minutes. Okay.
If it's a local server in your network, it's going to be probably about as quick as this was. So.
Okay. And so there you go. And let's take a look and let's get some images and kind of go through the rest of it.
So for the images, we're going to go ahead here and open up our image browser, and I'm going to do load project. Okay. And we're going to go to that image folder we created, and you should see that C3D file that we saved there. If I go ahead and double click it, you'll notice it's going to say that these are all web images. They're not going to have any preview since they are on the web there. But we can access them the same way that we've used TopoDOT. So if I want to come in here and say load closest image from point, I can click anywhere I want to click at, click on my view. It's going to download that image and then pull it in for us. All right. So again, this is all grabbing all those images on the fly. It's not, you don't have to have that entire project on your machine. You just pull up where you want to look at, and it's going to pull that image in for you. Okay.
Yeah. Let's mention that real quickly. The point clouds, and a lot of times, you guys want, everybody here wants to create value for their data, and these images are really useful. Just keep in mind when people are using TopoDOT that, a lot of engineers still don't want to see a point cloud until they get used to it, or engineers, designers, whatever. But these images, if you can click on anything in the design, and this image comes in this quickly, this easily, and they download pretty quickly. I mean, seconds, and then it's obviously cached. So I think that's really powerful. Definitely, a way of spreading your data along the design, engineering, and construction process, very effectively. So the image is exciting.
Okay. Now, really quick here, let me go back to this view web projects. If I come back here to that view project, just really quick, I want to show this. If I come in here and click any one of these tiles, it's the same process. It's going to download that tile and load it in for us. So, rather than trying to find icons or go through that step of mapping them out, you can just pull it up here through the aerial image and click on the one that you want to load or the one that you want to work on.
So what's the compression there, Matty? About 40%, something like that?
Well, it's going to depend on the file type, so I can't really give a percentage. It depends what type of file you're compressing. But it's using LZW compression before it throws it up on the server.
Okay. And again, once again, there's no real specific file type. it doesn't matter what. Correct me if I'm going to say something wrong, Maddie, but any file can go up there, right? I mean, that's just a name.
Correct. Yeah. Any you throw up any file as some metadata.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's metadata, right? Okay, so I think just recapping a little bit, you've seen what the administrator does. It's been quick, but of course we recorded it so you guys can look at it and look at it a little more slowly. It's documented really well, and we'll be improving that, and our new website's coming out soon. You'll see it there. We'll get a link up on our old one. Nothing's going as fast as we'd like, but by the end of the year, we should definitely have a new website up. But the bottom line is we think TopoCloud's really, really exciting. We have some users that have been beta testing it and using it for, through the summer. It's helped us iron out a few little things, nothing much, and we may let Maddie say a word to that. But the bottom line is they're using it really effectively, and they really like it. Some of our big customers, big construction companies, and we really happy to spread, get this to the entire TopoDOT community. So, Maddie, what do you think? We had a couple issues. What do you think when you're setting this up? Is it typically what we talk about? Is typically some firewall issue and maybe opening the right port, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of described here in this document. Basically, the biggest hurdle that we've noticed is setting up the firewalls and opening up the ports properly on the IT side. Without that being done properly, it's just not going to be able to connect. So read through the document and it'll explain how to set all that information up. Now, also, if you guys are going to go and use this demo account that I created, you may or may not be able to access our server, again, depending on your firewall or settings. So we set this demo up here just for reference, so you guys can see if you can use the TopoCloud portion of it. But again, it's connecting to our server here, and like I mentioned, you might not have access to it. But if you guys set it up locally, you can set up your own restrictions there, and you shouldn't have any issues there.
Yeah, please. We put that up there so you can give it a shot. Please give us a call. Let us know if you'd like to see data, you'd like to test, see how it comes down. You want to walk through it. We're always happy to walk through it with any one of you. It's not difficult. Even I pretty much understand it. So, I think we've done a good job. Once again, hats off to David and Mauricio. I mean, what a great job. I mean, it's so it's elegantly simple and very, very powerful. So I think we're really happy. At this moment, we've got quite a few people out there today. And you have anything else to say, Maddie?
Nothing on my end. No. I see we've got a question from Michael. I don't know if you see that.
Okay. No. Yes, I'm looking at it now. Yes, for sure. So, Michael, let's. I can never open my thing. What did Michael say? I'm looking for this thing.
He said, if we primarily use ProjectWise to manage and store all the project data, this information is accessible in the field and fully integrated with our enterprise system. How do you see this working together to ensure a single source of truth in our ProjectWise system? I am concerned that we could have some information out of sync if they are not centrally stored in our ProjectWise.
Now I want to let you. So ProjectWise, we don't have it. This is not integrated with ProjectWise. And ProjectWise, I think I can't talk about details. I'm familiar with what they're doing. They're doing some really interesting things. We've developed TopoCloud to work on its own server, its own files. It's a little more flexible and easy to use, and obviously much lower cost. As far as being within the ProjectWise environment, you can. I think there. I don't want to. I can't even say. You're gonna have to. We can talk to Bentley a little bit about that. This development hasn't been. I think it's fair to say now that we haven't really integrated with ProjectWise. And I'm not quite sure how. Do you see that working in some way, Mally, or we have to think about it?
Yeah, I don't think that would be possible.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You're right about the centrally storing your data. We look at it different. Data doesn't have to typically, the way we've controlled the access and put it in a simple FTP server, and data only goes from an administrator up. If it's, we don't think it has to stream each way. And survey data is kind of mind of its own. It's not as if you're up someone else's shouldn't be adjusting point clouds and the like, and then putting them back on in any database, ours or anywhere. It's just not really shouldn't be done. So that's one issue. So I think that you know, I don't know. You might have to make a decision as to how you want to where you want to hold your data. That's all what works best for you. You know, so this project-wise compatibility really isn't there. We're not quite sure of exactly how they're implementing things, and we have a different philosophy about it. So, okay. So, any other questions?
Paul said, hold on, let me see if it's a question, if he's just telling me something. Paul says it may be possible for files to live on ProjectWise server and be accessed by TopoCloud. So it may be possible. Maybe we'd have to look more into it.
Okay. Yeah, that's something we have to investigate for sure. So we don't have anything against it. We don't know yet. So let's just leave it there. It's something that we'll talk to our friends at Bentley and show them what we're doing. I think it would be really helpful when the TopoDOT community just really you kind of get your hands around TopoCloud, understand how you want to, you know, how it works, and if it's going to meet your needs, it's always good to have the customer saying, hey, this is what we'd like, you know, and as opposed to us giving Bentley a call. I mean, we don't have any problem doing that, but things move faster when the customers say, hey, you know, we really like you to integrate with this. So why don't we give TopoCloud a chance, a tryout. The other side is you can actually use, if you're not set up quickly, you can use our server to put some data up. Just let us know. We'll set that up. So you can actually store a project. We don't want to be your storage house, but you can just test it, and that can immediately kind of get things rolling. We've worked with our friends, for example, from FDOT a little bit, and that was it took a lot of bureaucracy to get something set up. So we did it for them, and we have that advantage of being a little more nimble here as far as getting the server set up to hold the projects. So now that we have that set up, we wouldn't mind storing a project as a demonstration for TopoCloud, and we do that here. Any other questions?
I see here, John. What about adding other tools like SketchUp for visualization, for presentations, for planning, or public display? I'm not exactly sure what he means there. I don't know if you can.
Well, I understand the SketchUp. I think that's taken care of because you can actually remember, basically in metadata, you can put any file you'd like. The point clouds can come down. You're in your microstation environment, so you're in TopoDOT, but they are LAS files. They are, right? So you're getting those files. They're going to be on your hard drive. So if you want to open them with another program, open them with another program. Right? Is that fair statement?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I was saying once these are going to be downloaded. Those tiles will be downloaded, and they're LAS files. They're .dot. .dot typically, right?
Maybe you just mentioned TopoCloud supports DOT, the .dot file, .las, pretty much anything. There are some restrictions in that, for example, if you try to upload a 3DD or RXP file into TopoCloud, you might run into issues. So what you might want to do beforehand is convert that .3DD and .rxp files to the .dot format using this guy right here, this convert LiDAR project to .dot. But other than that, most file types are supported there in TopoCloud. And
what about putting up in metadata? Can that be a PTS file or anything?
Yeah, I mean, you can zip up the Regal project, for example, and throw it up there, or you can throw anything up there as a meta file.
Exactly. So as a metadata, you can just throw up a file. Okay, so does that answer your question?
All right, let me see here. All right, let me see if there's any more questions here. Frank said, so it's really a general file server, not just the TopoDOT server.
Yeah, you can think of it that way, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is, and at the same time, it's integrated with TopoDOT so that it's able to pull in the calibrated images and the point clouds all easily. So it's not just the file server, not just TopoDOT server.
Yeah, but I think that kind of freaks with our philosophy. I mean, we know that you're going to be using other tools, and we don't. This isn't designed to tie you into TopoDOT. Obviously, it's when you're doing your extraction and the like, it's wonderful to click on an icon, to click on a world icon, bring it down from the server, and go 5 minutes per mile data start working. And you're working in TopoDOT, your environment. But again, they'll be cached in your folder as files. Open them with anything. I mean, again, that project, you have access to that project. So that's a good way of saying it. And I think actually, yeah, it's not just TopoDOT. We have no problem using this to basically access and pull that data into other files. It's not a problem. It's all yours. It's your data. We're just trying to help you how to use it better.
Okay. One more question here. Paul asked, what's the cost?
The cost. Okay, guys, everybody sitting down? Nothing. It's a TopoDOT feature, and basically everything you have here, you basically use TopoDOT to, You guys know how our maintenance works, so it's just a TopoDOT feature.
It's
so
included
basically,
with the maintenance. Yeah.
It's included with the maintenance. I mean, if your maintenance is up to date, you can use TopoCloud. So not a problem. It's yours to use as long as you're current in your TopoDOT maintenance. Please use it as much as you can. Use it for other programs to store data. We don't care. Again, so your only real cost is hardware cost. 16, like I said, 16 terabytes. We got it for about $2,800, and your IT time and things like that. But really, really, really low cost and effective. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So somebody my little screen for reading the thing is so small, and I can never get it larger. So it's driving me crazy. Value-added feature, yay. Okay.
Yeah. One last thing I want to throw in there too is this isn't just limited to your local, and I think we mentioned it a few times, but you can create a user for another company in a different office, and provided that you've set up your server to allow that outbound access or inbound access from another office, they'll be able to download data from your server as well. So it's kind of.
Is that uploaded? You mean another administrator for the same project, Mally?
Well, the administrator can be either in the same network or in the different network, a different offsite location, as long as the server is set up properly, or even just a TopoDOT user. So, for example, we've got some of our beta customers here that they upload the project to their server, but they provide usernames to other customers to be able to access their data off of the server set up on the main location. So. You're not just limited to be able to access this data from within your central network or your internal network. It can be accessed outbound.
Oh, for sure. Okay, yeah, in any office anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Provided that the ports are open and everything is set up.
Right.
How the IT guys said.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's a great point because we hadn't spent that. It's not just about in your office. It's other offices, partners, and we have customers doing that now, where they have processing houses taking care of they're processing their data, and they're just putting data from the field up on their server, sitting next to somebody's desk. He gets it in quickly because he's not even going over the internet, and then he says, "All right, it's there," and they download it, and it looks just like this. There's another question there.
Yeah, a couple more questions popped up here. Can access be limited to specific users for each project? So yeah, like I was, let me pull up TopoCloud here again really quick. Each project can have its own unique users. You'll see here on the right, some of them only have 3 users, some of them have 5 and 4. So you can set that all specifically per project. The other question I see here is if 2 people checked out the same number of tiles, they can be working on the same tile at the same time. Or will the tiles be locked to a certain user until it checks those tiles in again? Checking in and checking out tiles is something we looked at in the past. Maybe we'll do something with that in the future, but right now it's they can access the tiles at any time. There's no checking in or checking out at the moment.
Yeah, again, we thought about that, but let us know if we see a demand for it. Maybe it's not something we couldn't do, but the bottom line is we try to make this a little simple. You have access, and again, you don't really care what happens to that data locally on a workstation. They can delete it, whatever, because it's always up on the your FTP server. So 2 people can get the same data, and then it's local in their workstation. Okay. Anything else?
Yep, another question popped up here. Can you have specific admins for specific projects? Currently, there's just an administrator that has access to all the projects. We don't have anything specific for projects yet. Perhaps in the future then we can do something like that.
Okay, so there's one admin.
One admin that controls one particular project.
The one particular project, yeah. The dual admins, yeah, it gets a little sketchy. It's just because, and again, it's kind of interesting. I would imagine an admin maybe running a project. There's you might have a lot of people doing extraction, but again, it's not difficult to. You can email a DGN if you're working on MicroStation or DWG or whatever you're doing. You can email that to him, and he can basically tie it all together, check it, QA QC, because that's the admin's responsibility, and then he can put it up as metadata in that project. So we're not seeing that as a big problem, so we think we're very concerned about LiDAR, is the integrity of the LiDAR data. So right now we're limited to that one admin per project, right? But it can be different admin for each project, right? Melanie?
Your admins are going to have access to all the projects currently. So,
okay. Anybody have access? Okay.
For example, I have 4 admins here. All 4 of those admins can see all these projects and change all these projects. Doing project-specific admins is possibly something we can do in the future. It's just not in this current release.
Oh, I see. Okay. So everything I said was wrong, but whatever. It happens. Sorry, guys. Okay. So disregard what I just said. Multiple admins, but yeah, you should be aware that one admin should take care of one project, I think, or you got to be a little careful. At least control it either side. Okay. Anything else?
That seems
to
to
the
be all the
big picture.
questions.
Somebody's laughing at me. Who's that far? See, I can't see it all. Stick to the big picture, Ted. Oh my gosh. Oh, Frank Austin. All right, Frank. Thanks, Frank. Criticize from the peanut gallery out there. All right. Thank you. You're right. No problem. Okay. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. We're really excited about any other questions out there. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, guys, please. It's a feature. We want to see you using it. You know how we work here. And we're going to get that by the end of the week. We'll have this up on the website so you can download the instructions for your IT people. It's not really difficult to use. And, of course, you're always here to walk you through it step by step. Really a half hour, and you'll know what's going on if you have any questions. And, you know how we work here. We're always here for you. We really want to see this because this is going to bring it to the next level. More and more of our customers in the TopoDOT community are sharing data. They're using resources from other companies to process when they don't have enough people. I mean, we're seeing it more and more, and this is just going to, basically expand really expand your usage and make you more productive and more efficient. So thank you. Appreciate it very much, guys, for your attention as always. Again, thanks to the whole Certainty 3D team, especially Maddie and David, for doing really what we think is really excellent work. Okay, that's it, and I'll just say one more time, goodbye from the whole team. As you know, the team's growing. Just so you notice, I'm not the tallest one anymore. I don't know. Things are falling apart, my whole world. But, guys, give us a call and, let us know how we can help you. All right? All right, take care, guys. We'll talk to you later. And, signing off till next time. So we'll see you after Energeo. Anybody going to Europe that hasn't heard from us, anybody going to Energeo, please let us know because we're going on a cruise, on the river in Berlin. And, of course, you're all invited. Try to get invites out to anybody we thought would be in Germany, but please give us a call and let us know, and we'll definitely get you there. Anyway, I'll talk to you. I wish you were there too, Frank. Class up the place. Take care, buddy. Bye.